through some of the parts of the Quran,
Yes, yes, yes.
English version. And but the family stories about Adam, about Noah, about Abraham,
Yes.
they are very fragmented. Part here, part there,
Yes, yes.
all part there. You can't get a complete
Yes,
picture
complete story.
without knowing the story that I read in the Old Testament.
Yes, yes.
And then I try to compare,
Yes,
but I find it very difficult.
yes,
Even in the story of Abraham, sacrificing the son,
yes,
there's so many parts,
yes, yes.
referring only a little bit here, a little bit
This
there.
is a unique way of the Holy Book Quran. The first thing we should keep in mind, Quran is not a book of
Storytelling.
Quran is not a book of science. Quran is not a book of philosophy. Quran is a book of guidance. So guidance. So where the God wants to get some enlightenment in the previous stories and the history, so that portion is mentioned on that place. That's all. Only one story is mentioned complete, that is the story of Joseph. And Joseph. Other than all the stories, you can find some portion in the first chapter, other portion in the 15th chapter, and some other in the last. And but while in today's there is no difficulty. The first thing is you can find the book that the scholar has gathered all the stories, all the relevant verses of the stories, and it is compiled in one place. Another way is, if you have a computer, you can mention, you can write the name of Ibrahim. Suppose if you want to read the story of Ibrahim, so all the verses that shows the name of Ibrahim, that will come before you. Then you can read the meaning of the Quran. And
I mean, they don't follow in
a sequence. Yes,
sequence.
yes, yes.
And it's all fragmented.
Yes.
And then when you refer to say, the story about Moses, do you have to refer to the Torah, the Torah or something else?
No, in fact,
It
For
all
us-
depends on this.
for us, Quran is the authority.
The latest.
Quran is authority, but Quran has indicated that the previous books are corrupted or lost. But what exists, if it is matched with the Quran, they are acceptable for us. If it is against the statement of Quran, that is not acceptable for us. If it is in between, that Quran has not said anything, and neither in accepting or rejecting, then we may get the benefit from the statement of the Torah. So some scholar of the Quran also, they have mentioned some narration from the previous books, but their authenticity is subject to the Holy Book Quran statement. Yes, ma'am.
Do you mean that sometimes when we refer to, because apart from the Joseph stories, all the other historical accounts are fragmented because we don't see Quran as a kind of historical record. So when we, for example, when we look at one chapter and we find some guidance concerning what we should do, and then we find Abraham's story as a kind of example, as a guidance. So as we don't see the whole story of how Abraham treated his son at that time, do you see the Torah as a kind of something like reference for this guidance in the Quran?
Yes, I mentioned the first thing I ask, other than Joseph's stories, other prophet stories are not in one place, but there are some other stories that is also in one, but that is a short story, like the story of two friends that is in Surah Kahf, the story of the people of cave that is also together in one place, and the story of the brothers who were going to cut the harvest. That is in Surah Qalam. That is also complete story. But Quran is not mentioning the day and the time or the date of unlike the Torah. And this is the beauty of the Quran. Like the Quran has not mentioned when first man was created. If you see the Bible, you will find the first man is the creation is about 6,000 to 8,000 years. This is the whole human being history. But the scientists, they have proven there are some people, human being, they were 1.5 million years ago. So that is why Quran, this is another also the sign and evidence that is not from Muhammad, and it is from God, that no single words or no single statement of the Quran is against any authentic science formula or science research. So about the question about the story of Ibrahim, like in the whole story of Ibrahim, one place God wants to emphasize on sacrifice, and he wants to give example. So he brings the story of the sacrifice of his son on that place. One place he wants to tell the people, Quran wants to tell the people the determination and not caring about the power. Then on that place the Quran will bring the story of Ibrahim, that he is speaking against Nimrud, against the king, and he is not caring that he is throwing to the fire. So different aspects of one story. So according to the aspects and according to the subject that Quran is discussing, Quran bring that part of the story on that place. So this is the way. But you can get some reference from the Torah if that reference is not against the statement of Quran. If it is silent, Quran is silent, you can get the benefit. If it is said against the Quran statement, then we are not going to accept that statement, because Quran is for us the authority historically and religiously, spiritually, in all means. Yes. Yes.
At that time of Prophet Muhammad, are the people familiar with the stories of Abraham? Do they know Moses, or do they understand?
In fact, the people who were living in Makkah, they were the idol worshippers.
Yes. They doesn't know any knowledge of
But
the
except 1 or 2%, like Warqa bin Nawfal, there was one person, he was old when the Prophet Muhammad received the first revelation. Then he came to home and he asked his wife that he has been experienced with these things, that I have seen a person and who is saying Ikra, Ikra, read. So then he was scared. That time his wife brought Muhammad, peace be upon him, to her cousin Warqa. That time he was an old man and he was a Christian. After listening from Muhammad what he was experienced, he predicted that you are going to, it seems that you have received the same message that was given to Prophet Moses, and you are going to be the prophet. So the time will come when the people will be against you, and they will force you to leave this city. Then he was surprised that my people who were respecting him in a way that saying that he is the trustworthy and he is the truthful, whether they will force me to leave this city. Then he said, yes, it happened. Any person who claimed this thing and who gave the message, then he is treated badly by the people. So it shows that he only one person. But again, Prophet Muhammad did not go any institution, and he did not go to any person for learning. And but like in the 7th year after prophethood, he went to the Taif, another city, and he invited them to Islam, but they are rejecting. And as he was mistreated, then he was sitting in close to the garden, and one person came and gave the juice of the grapes, and he says, Prophet Muhammad takes and say, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Then he said, I have not heard these kind of sentences to speak before taking water or the juice. And from where you learn? He said, this is God's name and His attributes. And from where you are? He said, I'm from Myanmar. No, you are from the area of my brother Yunus. Then he was surprised. He was the slave. How you know the Yunus? Yunus is our prophet. He said he was my brother. But what the message that God has given to him, the same message is given to me. So then he kissed the hand of Prophet Muhammad and said, you are the true prophet that nobody knows about Yunus, Jonah, about in this area. So it is known only to the prophet. So it means you are the prophet of God. Thank you very much for bearing me, and we keep in touch. And thank you for attending the course. I pray all of you. Assalamu
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? You can go ahead. Yeah. You can join.
No, I would prefer Sister
Yes. Maybe I'm already learning some other language. Already learning Spanish. I like to learn Arabic, but I cannot train. I'm not the train of Muhammad.
Spanish is not such a familiar language, whereas the Arabic is the most influential language in the world now.
Yeah, I think lots and lots of people from Arabic.
唔係，即係嗰啲真係蟲仔咁啫。係啊，真係好難㗎。我覺得
She wants to know how to pray. Can anyone help her?
I have to get the link and send it to her. Yes, please.
Yeah, she can help you. Anytime she can help you. Yeah, Cecily is there. Cecily is there.
Please.
Can we take a photo?
Huh? Why not? It is for you. Take it. Take it out. No, don't worry.
Okay, so my name is Jacob.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It is new. Today he didn't give me the breakup. Yeah, I think we have.
I gave him an ask him about the topic. Then he like me, but they didn't have printer in the house. They just
You don't need that, you will get the link. Next week you're coming back.
Once you understand the
How many? I'm going to give you
right now,
what to say. It's very simple. Okay. So do you pray now, right now?
we just said.
Yeah, is this because of
so like there's so many websites.
Yeah. We go on
The one website is Quran.com,
Yeah.
There you can also find the translation in Chinese and also search the translation.
Wow.
You can find the stories.
Yes, stories I have to prefer, because
mine is the last.
mostly
Actually, I have
all
two
the
subjects.
subjects
Today should be mine.
for the
Supposed to be mine.
obey God on
You see, not next week is
don't
supposed to
go
be.
astray. All
This
As the Imam
Mufti Arshad wanted this
said,
subject.
like just emphasize on the
This subject
topic.
is
For
mine.
example, the
But
stories are
mine is
only
all the way
mentioned
pushed down.
for to just give an
And
example.
finally, the last one was, it's all shuffled, it's not the same anymore.
So,
Mine is all
that's
pushed down.
my question.
Yeah, I'm the
To
last
the
person.
people
Yes, and I
that
will
are
speak on
around,
the happy.
they have no knowledge of
I'll be here for
stories.
Then
Then
today, I think the Imam did a very good job, so I don't want to interrupt.
Because later,
Only if I
like
think
when,
I need to add
people
something
like, they
make
come
things
from
easier.
this place. They have
They
heard, for example,
Yes,
they
I
will,
know. I know
the Jews came to him and
Yes,
asked him,
they are only those people, because the Jews are those who receive that they are descendants of Moses and something. But they Arabs originally
If you
doesn't
look
know
at
that
I'll tell you why.
the God of Moses,
Which is
they don't accept
the
the God.
biggest sin in Islam
The way of
is to
Isaac
associate
or something.
partnership with
but
God.
as an example, like what I think,
One of the
according to my
major
knowledge,
sin.
is it because
Of
some
all the
there's,
sins,
somewhere
the major
written
sin
in
is
Quran
to
that if
associate
like you can
any
also
partnership with God.
go back to the
And
books,
if you look at
ask
previously how
people
people
of
did like at the time of
books,
Jesus,
like Jews and the Christians.
They
So
glorified
they
him
know
so
about the
much,
Moses,
so
yeah.
much, they went out of the
They know
limits,
about the
they
Moses.
made him.
So they also
figure that
mentioning
is
about the
all
old books
figure.
as well. So, for
So,
example, if
like
some
the
non-believer
Prophet
at that
our
time,
Prophet
he doesn't
Muhammad,
want to
even though
believe
he's
whether
dead,
he's a prophet or not, he
He
can ask
kept on
any
emphasizing
Christian
his
Jew about
companions,
Moses and
do
Jesus.
not make my
So
praying
this is
a great worship.
For example, now we are
So
here
in the
that
time
we
of
need to
Muhammad, despite the
some
fact that
words
people
on
they
wall
got
and they're
advantage, you can write, draw,
from another part of the world. So we will definitely ask those people whether it's true or not.
However,
So the mentioning of those
we have a full description on how
things
to
is
do it.
related to just to prove
Hadith.
that those people were there before.
Matter of fact, maybe this, maybe I can prepare something else. In the next course, I've suggested a few subjects for myself, which is not no, the same
But
course.
he is well versed in the knowledge, but only the thing is because he is not well versed in English, so he
Yeah.
finds difficult to express it. So some of the things that I feel that it's not much clear. So anyhow, just want to guide him, but being a senior man, so it's not good for us to give more explanation. So because his language is very restricted, English language is very restricted. So the expression.
The problem is that he mixed with some language I don't understand.
Arabic.
Arabic.
So,
He has to give the meaning of that also,
but when he speaks English, I can understand. I can manage.
but still then, in my opinion, he has to be more expressive. It's very difficult for him.
Actually,
He is a learner in English.
he is doing
Very good knowledge,
like
because
in the community,
knowledgeable.
you will find him.
Personally, it can because by addressing it feels difficult because it's not his language.
He speaks more
Still-
than I don't know Urdu, English, Arabic. So he's really knowledgeable about according to what he's already.
This is one.
Even with the some notes or handouts would be
We have
much more
description
easy.
of how we
if you need more, you know, like if you need more information on any topic, you can ask Brother Ashraf, or you can even email us, you know, like you can email me as well. I can give you more information on
he
certain
stopped
topics.
over. And the Arabs have a tradition. If you're a traveler, they will invite you to the house and they will, you know, feast with you. They will, you know, slaughter animals. And they have this culture. So while he was there in the tent,
For your question that you have raised, that is already there is one. There is one. There is one article about introduction to Quran, and then you have, if you read that once, then you can truly understand actually what Quran, how the Quran is, how the configuration is.
his hair was
So because you cannot take it as a storytelling book, because Quran's beauty is that it talks about something, suddenly it shifts to another subject. So because actually Quran is not written for, actually it is made for the time when occasion comes. Prophet,
very fast.
if he faced some problem, the guy is
Series of things, and when he took those steps,
so
he
it
took
has
those steps,
it's got in the same way.
I'll give you.
It is not in the sequence.
and then
So that is the main beauty of Quran.
people would feel that people would feel wow,
But
they're like he's only speaking to him. Even if he's speaking to 10 people, the way the people felt was he's only speaking to you, like you
The thing
are
is,
some people.
what
So people had
always trouble
in one
with is that
hadith, Anas, one of the companion, he says that
Muhammad,
one
he revealed
full moon night,
say,
I was watching the
read
film
out
and I was looking at the coffee.
the
He
revelation
said, when I watched the full moon and I looked at
the
the
night before,
and I looked at the full moon and I looked at the prophet, and in my opinion, prophet is quite handsome.
but he preached,
He looks more
but he
handsome than
preached
the
the people who
And this
preached,
is very true because some of
tell the
his
people about
wives
this thing.
do give this.
He himself, he is the model.
You know,
No, I mean,
person. His skin was not very
I mean,
his skin was not
is
very
it-
bright. He was more of
Uh,
a colored person.
I mean,
You know,
he's
things
a
like that.
leader,
And about his teeth,
he's
the
a
compassion
merchant,
says
he's a,
he had a
yes.
perfect
and
assembly of his teeth.
is
things
he a
like that.
preacher? Like
Yes.
Jesus?
So we have
Of
from the
course.
hadith.
He had followers
Yes,
around,
yes,
and then he will teach.
yes, yes.
But did they preach about the Quran or what?
Yes.
That recite the
Why?
Quran.
Because it is natural for people to go off the path. You see? So in Islam we have a distinction. This is God Almighty. You praise God the way He should be praised. And then below Him we have the prophets. So praise the prophet, not above God Almighty. And then you have the companions. So praise the companions, not above the prophet.
Yeah.
So the Muslims understand this.
So,
So what Prophet Muhammad did, he knew from the past generation, past nations, they have made the heroes of the gods, the prophets of the gods.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he made sure
and
nobody does that. To an extent, there used to be fears.
From the first verse
stand down,
until the
sit
end,
down.
are they
Remember God.
are they in
And they came
the
and
Sequence
started
no,
to consider
it is not in the
street to be
sequence.
something.
It is later here.
Something, you know, or
Reality,
yes.
So he
not the
Not this,
23
yes.
years.
Yes. No, no.
Not in a chronological order.
Yes, yes. And also the written form also changed a lot. You know, he has already known that the Arabic they wrote at that time, and now the modified form. It's all different. First you must understand Quran is a phonic.
Before,
You know that there is no change in the phonic style of Quran. Maybe some modulation, but that is the same.
worldwide.
But the written form
Until the 70s,
has changed.
even
So sometimes they put the vowel.
person can have in my
You understand what I mean?
lecture.
You know, Quran means
So
it's a
before
phonic.
in the 70s,
Yeah, I mean it's read out.
Read out.
Yeah.
Read out. But I read the Quran to say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It is the same when Prophet also, me also the same. The same phonic. But the written form has evolved because the language has evolved. So the written
He
form
marries
evolved.
a woman called Hadith.
Changed. You understand what I mean?
who is 15 years
That is why he says
senior.
they write kitab like it, but
And some people actually
kitab is yeah, the kitab is the same.
The pronounce.
Yeah, pronunciation remains same.
Whatever
Remains same from 14th century, but the calligraphy or the written form of the language has changed.
is more
And then
sexually
who get the
oriented,
title?
or is more active. And
You know, this also gave
This is
later period, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
When they compile the Quran, when they compile, when they compile,
And then
the chapters,
Relationship with any other woman.
I mean, there's not
yes, sequence.
But his
the
community,
theme is
his
yes,
background,
yes.
his own
the theme
people,
is not.
they
Yes.
It's not really about the
About that, yes, about the chapter,
something
yes.
very
That's-
authoritative.
that's what Christians
Yes.
know. When I read this,
And we see this
I don't
sickness
go
in
there.
You will not get so much.
Right?
That is why in the Quran there is one annex,
So if that
annex
is the case
where
in the
there is
21st century, then imagine the 70s.
you see this one.
So, and
From
after
this
her
you
demise,
can find which are the words.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's so difficult.
So
And then
these
you
things
don't have
clear
the
up.
chapters. you
Yes.
see.
Things
The
clear
10,
up.
chapter 10, I go.
Yes. So this is the difficulty.
Mm.
But the thing is that is the beauty of Quran also.
See,
Yeah,
why
that
you
is the
get
beauty of
married?
Quran as
Because a person who's
That is
unlawful
why we won't prefer
touch,
Quran all the people. But still
becomes
then
lawful to you
it
the moment you
reminds
say,
us
"This
a
is
pure
my wife,"
pure
and I sign the
form.
document,
Then we give
and I
because
take
once
her as my
if
wife.
you ask Quran,
See, a
then you
piece
have
of
to give.
paper legalizes.
You
what
try
is
to
illegal.
understand then.
So he
But
married.
you may find such a
If you look at
difficulty.
the history,
in this
I
Quran.
think we start with the Abdullah.
So, but for that purpose we cannot change
He's
anything.
also posted in the.
Do you know that?
materials to everybody. I don't know whether
It
you
will-
got it. If you look at each marriage, except for Aisha, the youngest of his wife, when she was engaged, she was 6. When the marriage was convention, she was 9. Right? She's the only wife who was a virgin.
Yeah.
Five.
I think he
Every
wants to
other
make
wife,
it
some of them were
4:30
senior to him.
now.
He married
That's
them
what he told because 5 o'clock. is-
some of the
I'm
companions died in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
of
so you
her
have the prayer sex.
Yeah,
So
so
when
better.
his widow
So
gone,
better. No, no,
she's
he can
she's
start
very old woman.
first, 4,
So in
4:30,
order for
then
her
go
to,
for a break
you know,
and come
it's-
back again.
so
Then
if
it's
she's in a
better.
position of difficulty,
Because
the
you have
chances
to
she
wait
may
a
go out
long
of Islam.
1 hour, you have to wait.
So Allah ordered him to
Huh?
marry her. So each marriage had either political reason or spiritual reason.
Social reason.
Or
There is a
social
lot of
reason.
social reason. So the different tribes he has to marry someone.
Like
So-
one of them was a Jewish woman.
Yeah.
His father was killed during the confrontation with the Muslims. Now she comes on board to Medina, and he looks at her, what am I supposed to do? And then he offers her, I would like to marry you. By marrying this Jewish woman, the whole tribe became Muslim. And she was honored now. Because in the olden days, the rule is, if you're captured, you become a slave, even you're a free person. So Prophet was protecting her dignity by not allowing a queen, who's supposed to be the princess, or the queen of the future, or the head of the tribe, being a slave. So he married her by honoring her. So she was honored now. Like she's a wife of the Prophet. So people look up to her.
I understand that. How about his other wives? I mean, anytime when the prophet marry a new wife, and his other wife will be happy.
Now, you see, let
But
me
they
put
would
it,
get jealous.
let me put it this way.
There are difficulties. We cannot hide it. There are difficulties for him also. Yes, as a man, he faces a lot of difficulties between the wives.
And how can he do justice?
There are a lot of jokes are also there, you know that?
Yeah, and
Because
keep talking until today, then
Okay, when it comes to polygamy, it is only awkward in the middle of 20th century.
yeah.
They promoted it to be awkward. The media and the West made in the media, they're trying to tell the people, for one man, one woman. Okay, this is the formula, and they ban every form of polygamy because the Bible doesn't talk against it, the Torah doesn't talk against it, the Hindu laws doesn't talk against it, does the Buddhism talks against it. All major religions don't say one word against polygamy. Right? So how
What
did
we
this
have
thing?
it in the New Testament is that mentioned
So-
that one man and woman can do it. I think they have it.
I like to see it because
I-
as I know,
I
Uh,
think
You're right.
I read this.
because at the time of Jesus, people were marrying, polygamy was practiced, but he never said one word. He didn't say stop, this is wrong, this is not all good. He didn't say anything. It was commonly practiced. So in the middle of the 20th century, the media made it popular. So the women actually got brainwashed in the past 100 years. So you go back to your own grandparents, it was very normal. They had no issue living with a man who had another wife.
No, they are not. They can't be called wife. The wife is only one.
No,
They are just concubines.
Yeah.
Something more than.
You use a different name that is different. Why do you say this is concubine? They are also
No, I mean they're
So what
not
happens
equal.
by
For the
giving,
king,
by
the
taking
emperor,
away this
they have the
permissivity,
queen, and she is
by taking what is natural to
all
this
the
is not
others
right.
are.
Islam says polygamy is a right of a man.
I mean,
No
they are
woman
not
has a right to take it
equal.
away from you.
It's
And
just
if a
like
woman
the-
takes it away from you, what happens?
They have full right. They are all
He
equal.
goes into other.
Is that all
What he
equal?
can do legally, now
It
we're putting a
is.
bar now.
no concubine.
Legally,
Not
you're
that
saying no,
all
according to the law of the
equal.
land, you
They are
can't.
saying,
So you
Yes.
put a bar there.
but they do. They
But
live
naturally,
together.
by nature, he
They don't live
wants more than
together.
one wife, and he thinks he can afford more than one.
Not in one house.
Yes, not in one.
And what you do, as soon as you put
So
that
you
bar,
go every day.
he
one.
goes off the bar.
That is his term.
And then the house
See
must
what I
be
mean?
the
So
same
in order for a
expensive.
man to
No,
convert from a
Yes,
person
yeah,
to a bad person,
More equal.
what Islam
everyone.
says, the way God is.
I mean, if you pay $10,000
All the language.
so the first wife
was
was
under the
paid.
instruction of
You,
Allah Almighty.
you imagine about
And he
nowadays.
chose
Those days
to
it's
stay on
not
the
like that.
right? But as a Muslim, you have limits. So the Arabs at that time didn't follow any limitations in polygamy. They can have 20 years, 30 years. But the Quran put a limit. Number one. Number two. The other thing is, because the media has done this damage, we see men, instead of going to legal relationship, they're looking for illegal relationship. But this is going to happen. I put it very clearly in my previous lecture, how men in Hong Kong have gone to China seeking mistress. And if you look, okay, I want to suppose I have a desire to marry a second or third wife. If the system stops me from doing it, and if my wife is brainwashed just like any other woman, that no, I will not allow another woman, I'm for you, you're for me, or you divorce me and all that. What I do, I go and have an affair with a woman, and through that woman I beget a child. She becomes pregnant, she gets a child. Now what is the status of that woman and the child in the society? If I die, will she get $1 from my inheritance?
Because she's not elected.
So,
Yeah.
right, so am I being fair? Is that fair? Am I doing fair to her and to the child? You see, so all these things is not considered, because this is a divine law, my friend. This is not, you see, humans make mistakes in devising law. Whatever humans have so far dictated laws, after 10 years it's no longer applicable. They're changing.
But my question is, so I'm still.
Okay, go ahead and go.
I mean, even
Yes.
a conversion Muslim, but.
It's difficult for you to accept
To
the fact.
accept
Of
this
course, I
kind
won't
of-
accept.
I'll come to your point.
If in the future my husband, who is the
No,
Muslim,
it is
he said that I want to marry
It is not,
the
it is,
wife, then
it is not,
do I
not,
have to
see,
accept?
when polygamy is accepted. It is not, polygamy is obligatory. That everyone has to do that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, but I won't accept it.
Okay.
Then what
It
happens
is
if I
between
don't
you
accept
and
it?
him. It is between you and him.
So are you married yet?
No.
Not yet.
Okay. Before you get married, Islamic law says if a woman don't want her husband to get married to someone else, she can put it in the written contract.
Yes. Yes.
Agreement, right?
Yes,
They
yes,
say,
of course.
if you agree that I'm the one and only,
Ah,
I will marry you.
man.
If he says fine, no problem, I will not look at
If
any
you
other.
break the contract, then,
Yes. Again, if he breaks a contract,
yeah.
Then you have the right